pains and joys. We get inspired by different words that come along from one person to another. And then what happens? When Noreen tells me her story, what happens? She tells me something, I go like, ningekwama lakini. She has inspired me, so I get transformed. And that's what this today is all about. That's what today is all about. This is Stories of Significance, Season 5.
All of us, we have one thing in common. We are students of life. What are we studenting about? It's about time and it's about people.
In life, we ask ourselves specific questions, very basic. Like if you have to ask yourself, what do you love? Things like, what are you good at? A question like, what can you be paid for? And the other one is, what does the world need from you? The Japanese way of Ikigai is they discovered that people live what they call a meaningful. Ikigai actually means meaningful, living a meaningful life. And that is the secret for them to live that long. They try to answer the bigger question, why do you wake up in the morning? So, Ikigai tries to answer those 4 questions. And I have an illustration which I thought maybe you can look at it. Say for example, think of the things you love. What do you love? If you combine what you love and what you are good at, according to Ikigai, that is your passion in life. So you're seeing those 4 cycles. And if you combine, so for example, what is my passion? Patrick's passion, which is something I love doing and I'm good at, is say training. So I'm a trainer, consultant. Why I train? Just because I happen also to have some background in terms of studies with some of the people here. At least my first and second degree is in counseling psychology. I'm also trying to pursue my PhD in the same area. So I train basically in leadership and try to understand, to bring out meaning, the reason why people behave the way they behave, and the way, what could be informing this. The other thing is, the other question, which is, what are you good at and what can you be paid for? You're good at it and somebody is willing to pay for you. For that you are good, what you are good at. Combine those 2, that is your profession, according to Ikigai. So I've answered the question what I'm good at and someone is willing to pay me for. So I identify myself. When I say I'm a banker, I'm answering the question that I have someone who is able to pay me and I'm also good at it. So, someone willing to pay me and the world needs. Those 2 combinations gives a vocation. So identify that vocation means a calling. That the world is calling you to contribute. But also it's willing to pay you for it. So my vocation, my calling, I found it in family. So now you should be able to now see connection. Why am I a banker and why am I doing this? And why am I not having conflict? Because That is a profession. This is a vocation. So my calling is to be a farmer. So if I were to ask myself now what the world needs, and back to the question of what I love, it will give me my mission in life. Let me just mention a few things where conflicts come in. Say for example, if purely you are only following your passion, which is what you love and what you are good at, there could be a problem. So my friends in psychology will tell you there is an element you feel satisfied because you have that passion, but a feeling of uselessness. There will be that feeling, don't say you're useless, feeling of uselessness. That you have this passion, but there's something. So if it's only purely what you love and what you are good at, that passion, if it's only purely, that is the problem. Profession, what you are good at and somebody is willing to pay for it. If you're only living in that space alone, then you will feel comfortable because I have a job, but a feeling of emptiness. You've heard people say, I do this job, lakini, there's something, because they're living purely on their profession. That I'm a banker and that's it. If you only live in the space of vocation, the calling alone, which is what somebody can pay you and what the world needs, that brings an element of excitement, yes, meaning Mutua and complacency, but a sense of uncertainty. I'm not so sure. I feel maybe I should have still been banking. Maybe that is where the problem. If you live purely that, and if you live purely on a mission, which is what the world needs and what you love, there is delight, because I'm delighted to have helped others like Salotarian and fulfilled that I've helped people. But sometimes it doesn't give the world. You only give, right? No one is paying you for it. Now, how do we, and we all find ourselves in those scenarios. I'm a banker and I say, how do I transit? I'm an accountant. I'm starting my own business. Maybe I made a mistake not to have left profession. Now, the people who live longest, according to them, to Ikigai, is they are able to actually have those four elements in their life in harmony. That they have a sense of profession. When I say profession, there's someone willing to pay you and you're good at it. You know, sometimes we use these fancy words, but you don't break it down. Maybe I'm passionate, it's something I love, but I'm good at. They live a sense of mission that they're able to give because there's something they love and the world needs it. And they also have a sense of vocation because the world needs something and is able to give it at a price. So in the center of it, if you're talking about the circles coming together, that brings the Ikigai. So I propose Ikigai as a mode of discussion because that's what brings true meaning in life. Because I will be lying if I just tell you how to make money. By the way, I can show you how to make wealth. My sister said you do that in banking. How to actually acquire, grow, passing it on. But is it wealth only? If you have been privileged to really meet very wealthy people, but they have bigger problems which you might not even imagine. But because maybe they're living on the space of wealth. So Ikigai is, to me, after a lengthy time of study and reflection, I realized that's where we are. Who didn't want to live to be more than 100 years? Because there's an example of people are living more than 100 years because of finding that harmony and living a meaningful life. Life will have meaning when all the substance are there. Let me just consider a few things before I talk about maybe what I do as my vocation. because that's what I was invited to discuss, is when you look at business versus employment. I'll give you a story. I happen to have met someone very established. This person is, I think it's one of the top leading industrialists. And I was just having a friendly conversation after having a business discussion. And I asked him, what's the secret of your wealth? I mean, what you've been able to acquire? He kept quiet and told me, you know, I've been employed in my life. So I said, oh, okay, so you've been in family business. I said, no. When I came to Kenya, those years, we had nothing. So I started business from the word go. So never been employed. So I said, oh, okay. So how was it? I mean, why did you not want to be employed? Say, I'll tell you something. It is true, but that's my belief. It happens to come from the Hindu faction of religion. They told me, you know, we believe that when someone is born, we use the word blessings are placed in their hand, in someone's hand. And at some point, those blessings will mature. So, he told me, if you get employed and you're working with your hands, at some point your blessings will mature, but they will accrue to the employer. So I was shocked. I said, that's the time when the branch was doing well and I was going to sit up. I said, so I hope my blessings are not maturing and going to the employer. Then I remembered, I'm also a farmer, maybe that will mature. It's an example. So it got me thinking. They said, if you actually were to be in business and do what you're doing, use the word hustle, at some point, those blessings will mature and they will accrue to you. Then I got to read a lot about farming, to just understand, and then I saw a research saying the next set of millionaires in Africa will be made in farming. In what? In agriculture. Which I think is what I said, I don't want to be among those set of billionaires. So I've started the journey. So when I was told to share my story, I was saying, but now they say success is also in the doing, right? Yeah. So I came to have a talk about farming. So sometimes when I talk about farming, I don't even know where to start. I just talk.